I just want y'all to know that even though I don't have any proof whatsoever, this Elden Ring DLC, I called this shit months ago. Promise you. I told my friend Jelani, shout out to him, what if Elden Ring has some actual like martial arts moves? He can attest to the fact that I had asked him that a long time ago. This Elden Ring DLC is gonna change everything. I promise you. You think Elden Ring winning Game of the Year makes it a problem? Bro, the news on this DLC is going to have your jaw on the floor if you're a fan of the Dark Souls series and gaming in general, if you like good games. What's going on, guys? This is Lost Fantasy. Welcome to my channel where I like to get lost in the fantasy of anime, video games, even in my own imagination. And today's subject of Let's Talk is, of course, Elden Ring Shadow of the ERDTREE, the upcoming Elden Ring DLC coming June 21st, which is very close to my birthday, might I add. I'm here today to talk about it, but also kind of react and read the news that we have, and I want to get this started. This is from Screen Rant. I'll be putting screenshots of the passages next to me or wherever it fits, or maybe not. Who knows? We'll see how this video does. But Elden Ring DLC's new combat system will change everything, and I promise you, it will. It will. So it reads, Elden Ring players should get themselves ready to face a new combat system in the Shadow of the ERDTREE DLC that should shake up how you level. So if you thought the game was good already, this is going to get even better, I promise you. The summary is, the Shadow of the ERDTREE DLC for Elden Ring will introduce you to a new level system similar to Sekiro. The power system will prevent players from easily breezing through boss battles without challenges, so you max leveling isn't really going to help maybe, but we'll see how they do it. And new weapon types will be added, offering new unique approaches to gameplay and familiar boss encounters. So it says, a new combat system in Elden Ring Shadow of the ERDTREE DLC will likely change how players approach difficult challenges with bosses and mini-bosses and the additional content for the game. The long-awaited expansion was announced back in February, which is this month, a year after the base game's original release. At the time, little information was provided other than the title itself and artwork featuring a blonde character mounted on a spirit steed, which is this picture here if I have it and can find it, with an alternative version of the ERDTREE far in the distance. But now we have more. According to Miyazaki in an interview with the Japanese outlet Famitsu, which I hope I said that right, which was translated and posted by the user The Angry Furlong on Reddit, the Shadow of the ERDTREE DLC will have something of a power system. Much like that one present in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, another developer from Software game. According to the interview granted by Miyazaki, this power system will be independent of the level system in play in the base game and will only be activated within the confines of the Elden Ring DLC areas. Oh, come on. That's honestly a little disappointing in my opinion, because I want to take the new powers that I have into the other area, but with this whole being a whole expansion, you'll be teleported to a different area. I get it. I understand. Those of you who play Sekiro, I'm not too familiar with it because I didn't play it, but I did watch the story. The power-based level system in Sekiro may give some perspective as to how the combat would change. In the award-winning game, the power system grants players bonuses to attack power and health and posture when defeating enemies and mini-bosses respectively. I would like to point out that Sekiro has one of the funnest gameplays ever. It's very, very fun to watch. If players found themselves stuck in a difficult battle against a certain boss, they could retroactively explore to locate and challenge optional and secondary opponents. These would grant them combat bonuses, which would prove useful in the previously attempted failed boss fight. So powers and probably just different type of styles and stuff like that. I've seen it. I've seen him use electricity. I've seen him use some black ink looking, power. I've seen them fighting dragons. I don't know if they got something from that in Sekiro, but I've seen it. It says, and it reads, this power level system will prevent players from getting too strong and simply trampling through the boss encounters, which are intended to be the highest point of challenge within a Souls-like game, like Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, or Elden Ring. In Sekiro's case, the power system would incentivize players to take a break from a hard challenge and sidetrack. At various moments through the campaign, there are several different paths that can be taken into action, so it would tell players to try alternatives before returning to the boss, all without actually spelling it out for them. FromSoft players don't really like watered down stuff. They like their games to be hard, and I respect that a lot. So it says how it can affect the game. The recently mentioned power level system for Shadow of the ERDTREE DLC should affect the extra portion of the game in a very similar manner, and this is an optional piece of content that can be accessed from different moments in the main story. I wonder what that means. The power system would impede players who are near completion of the standard campaign to start the DLC and simply eliminate all the bosses without much of a challenge. Alternatively, the power-based level system will also likely prevent players in the earlier stages of Elden Ring's main campaign from being trampled mercilessly in the new DLC. So I know a lot of people at the start of Elden Ring's lifespan had a problem with how difficult the bosses were at the start. And this is no surprise to From Software or any players who've played Souls-like games before, or Souls games in general. Not everything's going to be easy. Of course, new players, new casual players coming into the series are not going to like how hard it is. But the beauty of it is getting through it yourself, fighting through it, and having an accomplishment of beating something. And that's the beauty of Souls-like games. It's good that they're adjusting it for the DLC. It says, this is a great way of fitting several new bosses and mini bosses with varying levels of difficulty and challenges without conflicting with the content that is already present in the base game. Once players access the Land of the Shadow and its sublocations, players should be less reliant on the power granted to them via their regular levels and standard RPG progression, but instead on the bonuses that they obtain by defeating bosses and mini bosses within the areas pertinent of the Shadow of the ERDTREE DLC. In essence, it should allow the expansion to exist more peacefully within Elden Ring. Okay, I kind of get what they're saying. This is. I think they're saying that it's entirely separate from the the base game. I think that's pretty evident. And with it doing that, it should offer more fun to it. And it stresses that players should not rely on the levels that they have beforehand. And I may level up my character a little bit more just to be a little bit more prepared to see what happens. But people are already starting to level themselves max level if they haven't already, and just getting ready to get through this. But the combat system will change. Keep that in mind when you're playing this DLC. And I believe it should be a lot more fun, a lot more entertaining, and it should offer a lot more than it had before. Much like, I'm assuming, previous Souls-like DLC. I never really played the DLCs of previous Souls-like games. So. But what I'm most excited about are the new weapons. I have 8 new weapon types. It reads, along with the power level system, which will likely be a great way of addressing level disparities between players that are fairly early into the game and those that are more advanced, there are more changes coming to the combat in Shadow of the ERDTREE. This, on the other hand, should affect not only the content of the DLC itself, but the entire game. According to Miyazaki's interview with Famitsu, there are 8 new weapon categories being added to Elden Ring with the arrival of Shadow of the ERDTREE. This includes things like throwing knives, as demonstrated in the trailer. Miyazaki states that there will be new weapon types represented by large swords, like a tachi or an odachi, for instance. The game director also mentions reverse hand swords and even some more peculiarly highly novel ones. These 8 new weapon types will offer players new ways of approaching gameplay and well-known boss encounters that may have already grown accustomed to during the past few years. Miyazaki also reveals that the Shadow of the ERDTREE DLC will include new weapons for already existing categories in Elden Ring, so it's not uniquely reliant on new weapon types per se. The inclusion of the power level system and the addition of the new weapon categories, along with brand new weapons for already existing weapons, should add a lot of value to the replay factor of FromSoft's popular open world RPG, of course. This is disregarding all the new locations, enemies, and boss encounters that will be added to complement the new story being told. There is, however, still a lot that is unknown about the expansion, and players will have to wait until June 21st to uncover the many mysteries hidden within Shadow of the ERDTREE DLC. And that is the end of this article. But it informed us a lot about what we're going to be preparing for in the new DLC. As I've said, I am excited about the new weapon types. I love when games add new weapons, and it didn't mention anything about martial arts as seen in the trailer with the triple kick that in the trailer that we saw briefly. But I'm assuming that this is going to be within the new fighting style, the fighting combat change that Miyazaki will be placing in this. And that's what I'm most excited about. I love when games expand their game with new stuff, new fun stuff. But as I've said earlier in the video, I called this. I asked my friend, I literally did. I said, I wish Elden Ring had more martial arts type stuff, like hand-to-hand type stuff, because there's no way you have fist weapons but no martial arts like Asher Wars or anything like that. But hopefully this new combat change will change that, and I look forward to trying it. This DLC will change everything. It will change a lot. The game already won Game of the Year. It's no surprise the type of stuff that FromSoft can do. It's just, a lot of people are excited. They're hyped. We got some more months to go before we get to it. But this is already promising from the start. Elden Ring's current combat system, I wanted to touch on a little bit. I was playing through it the other day, just to get my current character further in the story to go ahead and finish it. But it did get a little boring, but like not like a lot, because there's a lot of Ash Awards and different types of things that you can try. But that's only because I don't really like using extra stuff. I use mainly like strength build, just a big bunk build, strength build, dex build, and that's pretty much it. I even had a character that's all about lightning incantations, but I just mainly do strength build, and hopefully with this is gonna at least help balance it out with how slow strength builds can be. But it also depends on the weapon and the thing you use. And also, they haven't mentioned anything about new gear, but I'm assuming there will be new gear going on in the DLC. And I wonder what type of gear they're going to be having for us, And Elden Ring has some good, some good outfits and stuff. A couple of them that looks better than others, but not a lot of them are easily obtainable. Which is also one of my problems with Elden Ring, is the drop rate for some stuff, some weapons and some armor. You either have to sit there and grind for a week to try to get it, or some people get it in literally the first hour of them grinding for it. It all depends, but hopefully he'll adjust the drop rate with the update. And that's pretty much my only problem with Elden Ring, to be honest with you. But like I said, the end of this video, this DLC will change everything. This will probably be the best DLC released in the past year, or any game. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this Let's Talk. See you later.